Hello, bumblebees. We're going to learn about our last tribe today, the Pueblo Indians. The Pueblo tribe consisted of 21 separate Native American groups that lived in the southwestern area of the United States. They mostly lived in Arizona and New Mexico. They got their name from the Spanish who called their towns pueblos, which means village or little town in Spanish. The region that they lived in. A region is a place that has the same characteristics. So the land is the same. So they lived in the southwestern area of the United States. They were south of the Rocky Mountains and north of the Rio Grande River. There's the Rocky Mountains. So in between those two. The Pueblo region had a climate. This is what your weather is typically like, of hot, hot days and cool nights. They got little rainfall. The land had high flatlands, and the plant life were cactuses. You can see how the land is kind of flat. How did the Pueblo Indians get from place to place? Unlike the Powhatan, who walked and canoed, and the Lakota, who walked or rode horses, the Pueblo Indians just walked to get from place to place. The Pueblo lived in multi-story homes made out of mud and soil. They lived in Adobe pueblos. So their houses were called an adobe. The homes of the Pueblo Indians were world famous. They made these multi-story buildings from stone and adobe clay. Adobe clay was made from water, dirt, and straw. Many of their homes were built right into the sides of cliffs. They used ladders to climb from one level to another. So here you can see different styles, but they have different levels with ladders to get up and down, which is a really smart idea. They just dug it into the side of the cliff, and the clay was made from water, dirt, and straw. They mixed that together to make their walls. How do you make an adobe house? To make an adobe, you take mud from the river and mix with water to make bricks. So you take mud from the river and mix it with water. Let the mud dry in the sun or bake in an outdoor oven. Stack the bricks together to make a strong house. So dirt, straw, and water is all you needed to make the mud, and the mud for the mud bricks came from the river. Each adobe unit was home to one family. Just like our apartments today, hundreds of families could live in one set of homes. So each little square is like one family's house. The family in the upper adobe's unit would use ladders to get to their houses. At night, they would pull up the ladder for protection, because you wouldn't want somebody to get inside your house, would you? The culture of the Pueblo Indians was very unique. Mothers carried their babies on their backs using a flat board called a cradle board. So if you had a baby, this is how you would carry it on your back. The main animal hunted by the Southwest Indians were turkeys and rabbits. Southwest American Indian weavers made clothing using a loom. So they didn't use skins, they used a loom to sew clothing. Corns, beans, and squash, called the Three Sisters, were their main food staples, just like the Powhatan Indians. Their occupations or jobs were farmers, and of course they hunted too to get turkeys and rabbits. Everyone farmed because it was such a difficult job in the harsh weather. They grew the Three Sisters sunflowers, tobacco, and cotton. They used irrigation to help them farm. That means that you're able to move water so that your plants don't dry out. The Pueblo were excellent farmers. They grew all sorts of crops. They ground the corn into flour and used it to make thin cakes. Once the women had food from their gardens, they would use an adobe oven to cook. So they've made an oven out of clay, and they're going to put it on this paddle and put it inside of the oven, where the Powhatan Indians used open fire. So they're a little bit more sophisticated or advanced. And Alex, you would like to know that the Pueblo did not have a written language at all. So to communicate with each other, you never had to write. From the Pueblo Indians, we get legends and stories. Because they didn't have a written language, they would pass down stories from one generation to another. Native Americans were very respectful of nature, and they only used from nature what was necessary. They didn't use extra. We also have contributions from them in their arts, with stone carvings, baskets, weaving, and jewelry. The Pueblo Indians were known for their artistic pottery. One of their famous artists was a pottery maker named Maria Martinez.